Here we go. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, guys. We'd like to welcome y'all to another episode or a segment of Sisters in the Sandbox. Yes, come on in, sis.
Amen.
We greatly like to appreciate all those who have been with us thus far. Um, we appreciate you all. And as always, I'm going to put my disclaimer out there. In regards to our perspective and views on the matters is basically from our experiences and things that we have experienced. We surely welcome all feedback, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. We surely welcome it. It's also good to just know how y'all guys feel and being able to share and what it is that y'all experience in regards to whatever topics it is that we share. So on tonight, basically, it was a topic that I more or less wanted to share.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm trying to get my thing right here. Hold on one moment. And basically, it's more or less talking about when to know to leave or stay in a relationship versus when you're sabotaging a relationship. Because as we know, there's a new wave in regards to self-love. And it is good to practice self-love, as long as you're not being self-absorbed, meaning there's a healthy way of being selfish versus being absorbed and not caring about anyone else. So we're going to just get jumping it in because I wanted us to more or less, we're trying to get straight here so sis can get into this picture. We're more or less just trying to chime in and get a perspective and view on the matter. Bring the chair in. In regards to knowing when it is to stay or leave when you're in a relationship, knowing when it's unhealthy or toxic or when the red flags are there, when we're versus when you're actually sabotaging. And then there's times also that we also have to understand that sometimes you can meet the right person at the wrong time because there might be transformation that might be going on or healing that needs to be done. So we're just going to get scooping up in the sandbox with the sisters. We're talking about knowing when it is time to leave versus stay versus sabotaging a relationship. We welcome y'all feedback in regards to whatever experiences y'all may have experienced. And by all means, share with us. And we'll surely elaborate on it as well and expound on it. So we're going to get scooping it up in the sandbox. I guess because I can speak from experience, I'm going to say that, like I said, there's a wave of a lot of self-love going on where a lot of women and men, because it's vice versa, it goes both ways, where we're practicing a lot of self-love. We're learning from past behaviors. We're trying to do things differently. We're trying to learn the lessons that is needed. But at the same time, we also have to be aware of, even in regards to practicing self-love, like again, I just stated just not too long ago, not being self-absorbed. And when we're actually being so guarded and finding our self-love that we sabotage an opportunity that might be good for us. So we welcome feedback on that, because I know it's a lot of us that experience that. I mean, me, myself, and I felt that there was an encounter that I had, by all means, that may be in the right person, but the wrong time. And at the same time, it was still a life lesson, and it prepared me from where I'm at right now. So with that being said, what is y'all guys feelings like far as being in a relationship? What are the signs for y'all guys far as knowing when it's time to actually leave a relationship versus trying to stay and actually work on it versus sabotaging it? Because a lot of us can, let's put it out there, we can become so like, how can I say? And a lot of the thing is you got to keep in mind, like the something that we had already elaborated on, that I talk about is about compatibility, chemistry, and connection. And a lot of things is the thing that we were trying to figure out a long time ago was which one was more important. And the thing is, for me, it would be the connection, but the connection brings the chemistry. Because the thing is, with connection, it's either there or it's not.
Hey on, Janet.
It's either there or it's not. Because with compatibility, that's basically more or less talking about the traits of, things that you and that person might share. Like y'all might like the same things. Y'all both go-getters, whether it be spiritual alignment. Like, just because the person compatible doesn't mean necessarily they're the right fit for you. Because you can actually be on a job, and the thing is with the compatibility thing is like, or the chemistry is like, or you can build chemistry. Let's put it this way. Just because you have similar likes doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to keep it going without going without connection. And with far as chemistry, you can build chemistry. Chemistry is like science. You can build it. It could either build up to fail, or build up to be good. And the thing is being fluent, knowing how to get along with somebody. So
Mr. Donald said, I hate spending my time with someone that don't know what they want, and they didn't been through so much. They had a trust factor, and not with me, but with them. And for me is progress. If we can't make it, what?
Okay, you confused me the way you just read it. Yes. I hate spending my time with someone that don't know what they want. I read it right though. And they didn't been through. Wait a minute. Then they haven't been through so much that they've been through so much that they have trust factors, not with me, but with them. For me, it is progress. If we can make progress, if we can't make progress.
Okay, so when you say sabotaging, what exactly do you mean?
Like, some people can sabotage a relationship because of what they experienced in the past, because of whatever hurt, because they haven't healed.
I'm not blind. I know I'm partially blind. Oh,
I know I'm partially blind, so I can always see.
I can't always see.
Oh, no, you could, though. You could. I thought you were saying what it was me, but you're good.
Oh, Lord. No, what I mean by, like, back to what we were stating in regards to self-sabotaging, sometimes a person can sabotage a relationship because of what they experienced in the past. So, because you put up that wall and you're so guarded and you overanalyze, overthink, you can miss an opportunity, because not every relationship is going to be perfect. Every relationship has its different flaws. Like, if you take the time out to heal, like I had to learn that.
Yes, you did.
Like I had really had to learn it. And I'm still
I had to tell you. Many times I had to tell you.
Okay. But I'm saying by herself. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm not sabotaging.
But my whole thing is, when I came to realization that you can miss opportunity. That's the part I'm trying to get into, y'all guys. Because even practicing self-love, you don't want to be have such a masculinity that you push people away, because it's like, oh, I don't want to be hurt, or they got to come they got to come with all that I desire. But it's not just about what you desire. You also have to place yourself in a position about accepting what it is that person of the opposite, sex or gender or whatever the case may be, is wanting or desiring in a relationship. Like, you can't be so self-absorbed that you forget, okay, this is what I want, that you don't relinquish somewhat to say, okay, I have to be willing and accepting of what it is that they desire as well, if they also meeting it. And it's not by all means saying that we should lower our standards. But at the same time, we do have to keep in mind that we have to deal with reality, and that everybody is not going to cross every I and dot every T. Hey.
Good evening.
Yeah, spring greetings. It is nice out. It is definitely nice out. So my thing is, it goes like back to what I was talking about, the compatibility, chemistry, and connection. If the connection there, or if it isn't, and we talked about this a long time ago, that is the main thing. Because
okay, so I'm going to say this as far as sabotaging a relationship. So this must be, you're talking about the beginning of the relationship, or even if there is a relationship, right?
Yes.
So first have to state the facts. Number one, be truthful of what you want.
Communication. So that all factors.
No, it's not just communication. You got to comprehend what the person is saying.
Yes, meaning
if I'm sitting here, yeah, you can listen. Doesn't mean comprehend that person comprehending what you're saying. Exactly. So, I mean, because people can hear very different things. Yeah. I can say one thing, but you're hearing something totally different.
Exactly. But we as females have a tendency to do that. We can
analyze and
analyze what
everything
they actually are saying when it comes to the men.
And men are so simple.
But they're so direct. It's like, no. And which I had this from time to time, I had this bout with my friend. It's like, no, take me at what I'm actually saying, because it is black and white for them. Like, no, take it as face value.
Most 85% of them, yes.
Oh, yes. God. You did say 85%.
Yeah, because most of them, that's what they think. They think, okay, this is what I want. And this is, what I need. This is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm looking for. And they'll let you know, honestly, they will. Some, they just don't know what they want. They're in the period where they just don't know what they want.
But with that, that's something Miss Jones used to do.
Hello. Hey, Dr. D.
I already said, Jay. Hey, Jay. Hey,
what's the topic? They said, what's the topic?
The topic is knowing when to leave or stay in a relationship versus sabotaging a relationship.
Yeah.
And basically, we're talking about all the contributing factors in regards to this topic. Because the thing is, sometimes you can even, like I just stated not too long ago, you can meet the right person at the wrong time. I believe that was something that happened to me.
The right person at the wrong time.
Yeah. Because I was in separation. What?
They're either right or they're not. What do you mean?
They're right, but then there are still other factors that control. Like, you can have a connection with somebody, but at the same time, or you might not be compatible. But then at the same time, okay, that this is not healthy enough to stay in this relationship. Like, I'm not going to sit there and allow
for you, period.
It's
not, I don't know what do you mean?
Okay, so what are some of the red? Okay, let's do this.
Maybe somebody else can help me.
What are some of the red flags that you feel will let you know that person ain't right for you?
First of all, you have your preference. Number one,
exactly. But that's the thing. You have your
preference. Because it has to take some type of attractiveness.
He said right person, wrong moment in that time.
Correct, Jay.
He said,
sometimes you can meet the right person, but it's the wrong time to be meeting them. Like, you're not healed from past relationships. You haven't dealt with past behaviors that can cause conflict in that relationship, which cause in turn you sabotaging that relationship.
Communicate. Well, look, this is not right now. Is not the time for us. But I need to heal. You need to heal. Or I need to take this time to, address the hurt that I have experienced in the past. So I won't inflict that on you or this relationship if we're expecting to make this work. So you're asking him to wait patiently, or you're asking her.
But that's not fair for somebody to have to wait because you have not dealt with.
So that's what I'm saying. How can
you're sabotaging
the right person at the wrong time?
Because that person can have all those contributing. Well, let's say they meet all those, ideal things on your checklist, but there's different things outside, external, that causes that relationship to falter.
Okay.
So, yeah. How was it the right person at the wrong time?
And then Kia said that's not fair.
It definitely isn't fair, because where you might be ready, that person is not ready.
Exactly.
And then that's the thing is that means you still need more time to heal and get past. You have to move forward.
He said,
exactly.
Jay said, perhaps they are just not right
for you. Healing is the key. And that's what I'm saying. You still.
So that means that person, you're saying the right person, but at the wrong time.
Because they haven't got to the place where you're at, where you have achieved. But they have all the factors. They have all.
Because you're telling them to move on. I want you to understand what I'm saying. You're saying
I understand which person. You can meet people at the wrong time because of things that's external that is actually causing conflict.
Was not for you.
It's not that it's not meant for you per se.
Exactly.
It's not meant for you. Sis.
Go ahead.
I have church finger up.
Go ahead.
Mr. Jones says, sounds like Mrs. Jones isn't over the situation. That situation.
No, it's not that. I'm saying with the person, you got to learn how to be able to move forward. I'm not going to stay stuck and stagnant on someone if they're not prepared. I know that's what I'm trying to say. Some people, you have to realize I can't wait for you because you're not where I'm at. You haven't arrived. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it still might be you had the right whatever characteristics or traits, but you're not prepared to be where I'm at with it. So I have to move forward. I'm not going to sit here and stay stuck and stagnant because you're stuck and stagnant. I'm going to find a person who's on the right path, who's going in the same direction, talking and speaking the same goals. And that's where I'm at. I'm with someone who I know is compatible.
How do you determine that?
Avis, can he sound with you, Avis?
How can you determine what?
How can you determine that you're ready to move forward and he's not, when you both have issues that you definitely need to address?
Because that means I've already worked. I just stated that means you're ahead of that person. There were outside external contributing factors.
It doesn't mean that you completely heal from all of the variables.
No, you heal from it, but you know you're not going to
love
sit there
her
and
so
wait.
much. She didn't love back.
Hey, T.
Hey, Terrell.
My whole thing is you can absolutely, like, okay.
He said, night likes this. We missed you last week.
All right, I'm going to give you a prime example. Even with the friend I'm with, he had somebody he dealt with, and he dealt with her for a long time. He loved her. She kind of, in a sense, sabotages the relationship. But she could be the right person, but at the wrong time because she was not in a position to give him what he needed or what it was that they wanted.
How do you?
I don't know. Ask him.
I'm saying.
She gonna
I
say,
don't. Well, yes, nice like this. I mean, it's
don't
not nothing to be challenged. Sometimes you can have the right person and not be prepared for them.
If it's the right person, that means it's the right person for you.
But there's more than just one person out there for you. That if they're not prepared, I'm that type of chick. I'm willing to move forward because you're not prepared. You're sabotaging it. Guess what? I'm gonna find the person who's gonna love me at that point in time. Okay. That's gonna give me the same love and reciprocate the same love. So I'm not gonna sit here and wait because they had it's almost talking about saying staying with a person that has potential. Okay, I might see the potential. You might love me. You might have it there, but that don't mean I'm going to stay there.
Doesn't mean that person is right for you at that time.
Exactly at that time.
The person is not right for you.
Oh my God. Okay.
You're going to go back and revisit it?
I didn't say about revisiting. That's a missed opportunity.
Right for you. It's like
no, it could be still right for you the wrong time.
A missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That person is not right. Period. I don't know what you don't get.
I get okay.
But all right. Sabotaging. When you say sabotaging, this is what I'm trying to understand. Okay, so you said you gave an example that somebody is bringing in their baggage and past from previous relationship. They really haven't healed from it. Exactly. So they can sabotage. And again, which puts you in a position to miss the opportunity because you haven't healed for stuff. So what you experienced in the past, you're jeopardizing something that's in front of you that could be good for you because you're dealing with hurt and stuff and you haven't healed from
Mr. Woods is talking. Why do people even get in relationships and it's half-hearted? Why drag someone in your
exactly? And that's what we call, Mr. Woods, unrequited love. Mm-hmm. You have somebody, that's why it's this favorite saying or cliche out there. Love the person who is going to love you.
And that's the self-love.
Yes, because you love yourself enough to know.
Because I feel like this, where the self-love comes in, as you said, a self-love wave, is because when you're in a relationship, you're not just loving yourself, you're loving the other, your significant other, you're loving your spouse. So you're loving, sometimes it's, I'm not going to say sometimes, a lot of times in a relationship, one is giving more than the other. Yes, period. And sometimes it gets so exhausting, so taxing of that one person constantly giving of themselves.
It should be an equal give and take. It becomes waning. It becomes tiring. Yes.
You have a giver in that relationship and you have a taker in that relationship. And I mean, they can evolve together. But at the same time, if there
should be a balance, though. Just as much as the person is willing to give, they got to be able to know how to receive. You can't just always be a giver and don't know how to receive. And you can always receive and don't know how to receive. Yes, I most definitely am.
Well, I'm learning. I'm
like you cannot like I even had to learn that. Like even with what's the name? Like with Mr. Jones, I had to like when I share with him, like if you're a person that's so used to giving, in order to have balance in life, it's the yin and the yang. You have to be able to be willing to receive as well. There's got to be a balance. Like I always talk about duality and a balance.
What Avis just said. He loved what Avis just said.
Yes. So thank you. That's what. What are you going to be for?
Thank you. Because I'm just saying that, I mean, that's why I think a lot of people do get hurt in relationships, and at the end you have one person feeling more unappreciative
because it's unrequited. That's why they say find the person who's unrequited love. That means that person is not giving the same love that you're giving. That's why I always speak loud about reciprocation. If you're not feeling as if though that person is giving as just as much as what you're putting in, then so you have to reevaluate and say,
give just as much as he gives.
Okay, finger up.
In order
Mr. Wood say,
no, just as much as I give, he give. Receive, I need to learn how to receive. That's what I'm saying. There's a balance. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wood say you should be whole in life to give someone love. If you're not in that mind frame, you will damage everything you touch.
You should be whole in life to give someone. And that's the beauty of what everybody talks about. How can you pour love into somebody if you really don't love yourself? Like if you haven't healed past the wounds, the hurts, and all of that you experience, you're just going to keep taking wounded parts and issues to the next relationship.
I gotta chime in, y'all. Now, I haven't said much for a little bit. They really tap dancing on my kind of relationship that I'm actually going through. The whole thing is, I feel that what y'all saying is a giver and a taker, and I do want balance because I'm learning. This is therapy for me, for my sisters, listening to my sisters, because they hear me vent every day, all the time. But it's just like I feel like I'm that emotional person, that emotional being that I give, and then I don't see his emotions until something is not right with me, and then he feels like, okay, it's not right. But I feel like this, like they just said, self-love, and it took me a long time to get me where I'm at, and I do love myself. I just feel like when people don't love themselves, and when you go on
insecurities,
they
haven't dealt with.
There is. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let her talk. There is insecurities. There's self. Am I worthy enough? Then you're looking at, abandonment issues. You have all these issues you have to deal with, and trust me, I've been there. When I went into, a relationship, me and my husband, we both were broken. Like we were broken. When I say broken. And then my husband does something. And if he sees me, I just want you to understand, you cannot take and keep living on your past because you're messing up. And to me, that is sabotaging your relationship because you don't know what you got in front of you is a good thing. You understand what I'm saying? People tend to mess what you have in front of you because of what other people put you through. And I went through the same thing. So I had to self-heal. I had to go through some healing. I have to go to therapy, going back to therapy because I'm now learning how I have to deal with husband because husband feel like, it's me. No, baby, if you're not loving your skin and who you're in, no, baby, it's not me anymore. It's
self things that
he has to heal. Thing that he has to heal. If you're bringing out, I'm telling you, if you're bringing out 10 and 15, 20 years that happen in a time span, and granted, that's what we had to work on, each and one of us. Each and every one of us had to go through that traumatized us. And we told y'all about our traumatization that we had to go through as women, as young girls and stuff like that, that we had to heal from. But when you come into a relationship, it's no longer one, it's two. And then I don't want to lose myself and being like, I'm always got to give and make you happy. Then how am I getting happy if you feel like you always got to be happy?
What was one of the things that I suggested to you?
You tell me, I forgot.
And I think that's the problem. Because you can't sit here and compromise.
She did tell me not to.
You can't
say
compromise.
Yeah, that too.
And then you feel the way you feel because you did compromise.
Yes.
If you're going to do it, then you do it.
Wholeheartedly.
She
did say that.
So if you don't want to do it just to shut him up, don't do it.
Yeah, and he has said that before. He has.
You're giving
said
in to
that
him because you're thinking that it's going to change the
situation. Yeah,
it's not.
I just want peace in my relationship, my marriage.
But that means sacrifice your own happiness. Sacrifice.
But then why do I have to shut down to give you the peace to make you feel better?
That means you're sacrificing, but that's a choice that you made.
That's
but I'm not happy with that decision. I'm not happy.
Okay, if it has not changed,
that's a change.
That has not changed. Well, I keep saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Kids say you have to both be willing to work through the issues you both have.
Yes.
I agree. And when one half of it stays in the past, what can I do? All they see is, oh, you did stuff in the past.
You can't say just him, because then you're stating things that happened in the past
as well. But I'm just saying, you can't sacrifice yourself, compromise. I hear y'all all. So I do.
Can I ask a question? If you have signs that are there that, because the thing is, I feel like sometimes we can operate out of spirit of fear versus our intuition. Yeah. And the thing is, because of fear, it allows us to stay in situations and circumstances because of the person we are, and because we feel comfortable with that person. We're walking and operating in fear because we don't want to grow and move on with possibly somebody else who can provide what it is we're looking for.
Touche.
So the thing is, you can't get mad. Like, I literally had to walk through my, I had to work through my healing. I had to put stuff from the past behind, regardless of who. I'm just speaking from experience. Regardless, if that person was not going, there's lessons I had to learn. I made some mistakes along the way, but then I had to come to realization that okay, you have to work with the person who's going to actually love you or looking for the same goals. And it's not about just compatibility. Even if they had the connection with me and Mr. Jones, we have that connection. The connection is what's going to help get you through those hard times. Connection and chemistry, because you can have all the compatibility all day long. That'll make you the right partner.
Okay, Mr. Thought, you gotta read being comfortable.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta read Mr.
Yes,
Woods.
Being too comfortable.
All right, and see, that's the thing. I got too comfortable because I felt safe, and now that I'm not feeling the way I'm feeling anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just like what y'all saying, the fear and all of that good stuff. Yeah, it's creeping in. It's creeping in. Go ahead,
Mr. Wood says, I changed my thoughts when I was understood that out of 5 billion sperms, you made it here out of 5 billion. That tells you how amazing you are in life. You are the greatest in life. And you should embrace your life. All you can do is heal yourself first. Being too comfortable. And then Kia said, you've grown. Exactly. When you get to the point, like, I think it goes back to the saying where you are what you attract. When you've grown, you've healed, you'll actually be able to know that, okay, let's do the cliche, talk about, okay, getting back to the self-love. It's like, they're going to accept me for my flaws and all that. Yes, but you also got to accept that person too with their flaw. Like, what it is, you got to look at what it is that you desire and what that person desire as well too. We can't be so self-absorbed or so self-love that we block opportunities that are good, that possibly good for us. That the thing is, because you want to be able to learn from one another and to grow and to be able
That's the key.
Yes, communicate and be able to grow together and learn from one another.
That's the key.
And communication, as I always state, like, it shouldn't be where I'm yelling at you and demeaning you and belittling you as a person. Get to the key.
And see, that's my issue. this is what I
Y'all be
feel.
yelling about surface
And
stuff.
I'm going to talk to you with something that I know. And I know because I'm living it. You shouldn't have to belittle somebody to make you feel good. You shouldn't have to stomp on a person to make you feel better. You shouldn't have to do it. Exactly. I know. Exactly. But you know, I feel to me, I had enough is enough. I am who I am. I love myself. It took me a long time to get where I'm at. You understand what I'm saying? For so long, I was so down on myself. So I'm not going to be down on myself. And you're not going to keep bringing me down and say this and this and this and that and make me feel less than. You're not, or I'm worthless. I'm not worthless. I'm not less than. I am greater because you with somebody great. So I'm thinking like that. But then the person, that person tends to do is bring the baggage of what you don't do. Can you look at what you're doing or what you are doing or what you're trying to do, the efforts? I'm just saying, I just want you to see the efforts that I try. Give me an E for trying. I mean effort for trying. You just all you do is put down, knock down, and I want to build up.
Hold that thought. That's another that's another variable that comes from the past. Because that's the same thing that Daddy did to you. That you wanted validation from Daddy.
I did.
Affirmation.
So
yes,
I did.
But
because he's the man he's the first man in our lives.
And Kia says, she goes to say this, which is good. As you heal, your life may not be what it once was, meaning your husband may not be in the next chapter.
Exactly.
If you heal, you have to give him the same grace. If you can't, it's time to. And that's where I think I landed. Like I healed and I started recognizing what I was worth. I knew that there was more than me having to keep putting up with behaviors that I once was allowing and enabling. And it's not even to say, not only that, it's not only that, because I'm not going to put it all on him. It's not.
Tina,
I'm not even going to put it all on him.
I agree with you, baby.
It's also what I contribute.
I agree with Tina.
And once I realize that I've grown, I heal, I forgive, then now I'm looking for something that is more healthy and more in line of what it is that I want.
Because of what she's saying. I'm going through this.
One will shut it down, and people don't like to be talked at, but talked to.
And that's what I'm going through, baby. I want to cry because that's literally what I'm going through. Don't talk to me. And then every time we talk,
well, how can you address that
talk to the relationship
without
and you know, that's what I'm saying. But both of us feel like we're getting attacked from each other.
Exactly. Because
so I don't know, because there's walls up on both sides. He says not, but it is.
But it's coming from past
relationship, but my wall went up. No, I dealt with my stuff, and I'm not lying. I dealt with my.
Well, that means that you're growing, but it's
resurfacing because he's making me feel less than, and I know I'm not less than. I'm beautiful. I don't feel like you have to validate and keep saying I'm beautiful, but it don't hurt once in a while, brothers out there,
because that's your love language.
Yeah.
And this is my thing. But then that's when you begin to evaluate and assess.
And see, I already know his love language. I got his love language. I have to feed her to make her happy. I have to make sure she's fed.
That should be the only love language, though. It should be something else.
The gift of giving. Wait a minute. What is
that? But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be just fed. I want to be. I mean, even though he feels like, you know, men are not emotional, y'all. Men are not emotional. They don't say how they feel. But then y'all want the respect. How you want respect? And then that I feel that y'all in some way are emotional because you're asking and you don't want to be disrespected. You want your pride. But what is it? I mean, what is it that you want? And I feel like this. If you can't say what you want from that person that you love, or you sitting up here saying you love that person but don't know what you love about that person, or trying to change that person, what does that say about you? I mean, I already know I love who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am because this is how you met me.
What was the reason? What was the reason that you said that you loved him?
What was the reason? I gave him a solid reason. He was my rock. He kept everything. He was the yin to the yang, and he'll throw it in my face all the time. You know what the main thing women want out there, Ben, is a woman to feel safe. They want that stability. They want to feel safe and know that men have their back, whether you do it good or bad. They want to feel safe. And at the time,
stability.
Yeah, and at the time, my husband did want me to feel, he did have me feeling safe. But then when you putting toxic words in the air, how's that feeling safe? Y'all tell me, what is it feeling safe if you're saying you're not good enough, or your hair ain't long enough, or you're not doing this, and this is facts, and because you don't like the skin you're in. I'm not downing you. You're down in me. You're complaining everything,
projecting
everything, and then when I come at him the same way, oh, don't project. But I'm like, how can I not project if you're coming after me? And that's all we feeling like every time we come out our mouth is attack. And it's not. So where is our love? It is both on both parts.
So,
but now we're feeling hurt.
Let's focus on.
I think both parties are feeling hurt because he's self-sabotaging, and then now I'm self-sabotaging because now
self-sabotaging.
I told him a wall is going up
the whole time. Just listen. You have compromised in order to keep peace. You self-sabotage because you sacrifice your own happiness.
I did.
Your own,
but he don't see that.
Why do you want him to see that?
You're the only one in control of what
he don't see that. All he sees
is there urgency for that.
Because he feels like I'm not for him. He feels like I don't put him first.
Well, we can't.
He knows that you put him first.
This is what I'm trying to get down to.
Did you say that out there?
You cannot.
He knows that.
He says he don't. I don't put him first.
Listen to me. You cannot force a connection. It's there or it's not.
I don't want to cry,
and you can't operate in fear. And this is my thing, because I was operating in fear for a long time. Like I put my self-worth. Exactly.
A man knows what he has.
Say what? Do y'all really agree? A man, do you know what they have?
A man knows what he has. Because let me tell you something. I mean, you had the first marriage. That was not, hold that thought, sis. You had the first marriage, okay? And whatever happened, what happened, happened.
Yeah.
He knows what he has. But he knows your past just as well as you know his past.
Exactly.
And the issue is that it's constantly brought up.
It is.
To make a point.
It does.
That is irrelevant.
It is.
My thing is, you can't project. How can you grow? That means you haven't healed from the hurt or wounds that you actually received from the past. How can I be in another relationship and grow if I'm hanging on to what has hurt me in the past? There's going to be no growth because you haven't healed from it. You're going to be stuck and stagnant, and then you're going to project onto the person what you experienced in the past. When that person, that's what I'm saying. They could be the very person that is good for you, but because you can't see it, you can miss that opportunity because you're focused on that hurt that happened in the past. And that's you're sitting there projecting onto you. This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. And I'm doing this to you because I'm going to protect myself. And I'm going to put up my wall. You're not going to be able to lie this because this is what I lied in the past. And yes, you grow. But at the same time, you shouldn't be that guarded that you shouldn't allow love in. You should know the red flags. You should put boundaries, healthy boundaries in place. You should be able to communicate. You should be able to let that person know, okay, this is not good. This makes me feel this way. And if that person is met with resistance, then there are flags and signs that let me know, okay, I can't get this
hurt people. Well,
yes,
you told me I'm the hurt person hurting him.
Like, it's no point in me being in this relationship. Like, then it's time to move forward. Moving forward. Like, and then I think that's what
I was told. But I also was told that I can't save a person. But
exactly, you can't.
But I'm gonna tell you, if you're married with this person and you've been with this person more than a decade, over a decade, and it's been actually more than a decade. It's been some decades because our child will be 30. So what I'm trying to tell y'all is, if you feel this way and you know our past, And then I'm like this. I'm a Christian. God put my past in the sea of forgetfulness. I know the word. I know what I've done.
That's
You
God.
can't exactly. You have no
That's not
heaven
man. That's the
or
man.
hell to judge me and keep looking at my past. Like just because
But
a
then you have to
person
question yourself.
So, exactly.
Yes.
What am
You
I going to keep
cannot
allowing
say-
to put? What am I going to allow to endure? What am I going to keep enduring and putting up with? You can't start blaming him if you're not doing what is needed. You got to redo that like I did before. You're going to cut it off. You're not going to be able, like, really to deal with the situation until you actually acknowledge what it is that put you in the position that you're in.
I don't want to break it.
Like for real. You can't get mad with him if you're not really doing what is needed or taking the tools and equipment that is needed to heal what you need.
Well, I go to therapy. I'm
you can go to therapy, but are you applying it? It's one thing to go when it's just like same way as reading the word, but you can read the word all day. Are you applying it? It's another thing.
I understand what you're saying. You got to be. We are hearers, but are you a doer of the word? And I agree.
The issue is obviously she's fed up with the situation.
She is.
That's why her volume.
She is too.
But I'm more calm about it because
I've been calm.
I can only tell you, but
and it's not even in relation to that. It's just
I can
in
only
general.
tell you so many times. The issue is what the issues are, and then
I just don't want us to attack each other.
You don't want to attack, but however, what I'm trying to get you to understand, if nothing changes, nothing changes. You're saying that you're trying to keep peace. That's what you did in the past.
So peace means to sacrifice my own happiness, my own
self-love.
No.
That's
to make him happy, yeah, because he feels
so
like
you're making him happy and you're making yourself what?
Miserable.
So then you cannot complain about him being happy because you're trying to make him happy and you're not.
Because that's what he feels like. It's supposed to be about.
Exactly. You're saying he. You cannot blame him. You got to blame yourself as well.
You got to take accountability.
Because that's exactly what you
that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Wait a minute. He said, do you value your life and health, or do you value others over do you value?
We all to an extent have empathy towards others.
Yes.
But sometimes we can put others before ourselves. And that's the thing.
That is what we do.
Having healthy boundaries put in place. And that is something we had to learn. I had to learn it. Like through this growth spurt and things that I've been doing and experience, going through all the different changes after my divorce, being in different relationships, I came to realization that when you are in a hurt place, you're going to do things, make choices that are not quite, right, unhealthy or whatever the case may have you because you've been hurt and you want to put in that hurt on other people. But then you got to grow up and realize you are what you are attract. Get to the point where you heal and you realize what it is that you yourself is wanting and looking for in a partner. And if that person has a genuine connection with you, that, like I said, it don't even go about the compatibility because you can like the same things, have the same religion. Like I talk about, equally yoked means that you have a connection that's already there. The chemistry is on. If you have a connection, it's going to be there regardless. Like your connection and the chemistry is what's going to get you through. I can work with somebody and not like them. But because I want to get through the flow of things.
You work with somebody and you don't like them.
We're not going to get it.
Jesus.
I'm simply stating that basically you have to come to the realization and be real with yourself and allow reality set in about, do I make the change or I'm going to keep sitting here suffering with the same thing? Like I said, you can keep going around the same mountain, doing the same old things and expecting some different result. If you're not doing nothing to make it change, you can't blame nobody else but yourself. That's all I'm saying. And my thing is, you have to be able to know what signs are there to either leave or stay in a relationship. Both parties, that's the key. Both parties have to be willing to want to make it work. If I got to the point where I didn't want to make it work anymore because I exhausted every avenue, I did all I felt I needed to do. And this is in regards to like I said, nothing bad about the person, but I knew I was exhausted and I was no longer going to allow the behaviors that I once.
But you were not exhausted. You were numb.
Yeah, I did become numb, and she's about to become numb.
You were numb.
Somebody else is about to come numb.
When you get to that point where you are
You're just
numb,
you're just
and
coexisting. You're just going through the motions
of a relationship
that's not good. That's not healthy.
That is no longer
that's not
a
healthy.
relationship.
That's not healthy by far. It's to let it go.
It is time.
Yes, Mr. Woods again. Hurt people
to
hurt
depart. People. It is time to
and that's when I came to realization I had to let it go. And then I had to go through a trial period about what was good for me, and what might look good for me at that time might have been right, but not, it was the wrong time, because you don't possess what I'm looking for. So you have to work with the person who's going down the same direction and the same path that you're going. God rest, bless their soul, whatever. But your intuition alone, come on now. That's women. We know what feels right. Even men, it's go both ways. I'm not even going to say women. You know what situation feels good and what doesn't feel good. And you know what you're willing to do, and if you're able to get past it and work through it. Because not every relationship is perfect. There are highs, there are lows. But if you're willing to compromise, if you're willing to work through it, if you're willing to accept that part, that's what I'm saying. You can't be so self-love that you're self-absorbed, that you're that selfish, that you're not taking in consideration the person that you're trying or desiring to be with. It doesn't mean let down your standards. It means that you also got to tap in. You can't have so much of a wall built up and so guarded and so masculinity that they don't even see the femininity in you, because you are so independent and don't want no help, and I don't need no man and all that type of stuff.
Let me say this. There's nothing wrong with being an independent woman.
It's nothing
wrong. However, if you planning on having a spouse or mate to come in.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Say what?
Go ahead.
If you planning on having a spouse, a significant other, or someone to come into your life, and y'all be a part of each other, that means, like my sister always say, you have to relinquish some of that.
Yes. Bars.
Andy spent more. Oh, was I rapping or something? What you say, Deirdre?
Lord knows.
Don't start me, because I sing already as this.
We don't need no song.
Go ahead.
Then yes, it's like myself. I could be an independent person, but at the same time, I have a lot of love to give. So therefore, I'm allowed that man to be the man. And if I feel that man is going to allow me to be the nurturer, or be whatever my position is in that relationship, without having to change who I am, because that's what attracted you to that person, correct? It's who they are. So why would you want to change that? If you feel like you have to change somebody, that means that person is not for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all can be friends and move on. You know what I mean?
Exactly, like because that person is not where you are. But if you're
coming in trying to change the person is going to want to change.
They should want to do that on their own.
For each other. You know what I mean? It make each other better. You know what I mean? Evolve together. Build together. You know what I mean?
And Mr. Wood says the question is, how do you value your life and health? Do you value others over you? And that's the thing. You don't.
We already said that.
Because he just
no. I mean, to some aspect, I have to. To some aspect, I have to, because that's
Janice said, "Just kiss and say goodbye."
Oh God!
Well, we already know what the Blake women will do.
God.
Would say you got to have cooperation and destination, and where you want to involve.
I'm trying to find out which woman has a successful marriage.
And the Blakes,
who? Well, I guess on ours.
No, because she had a divorce thing on Uncle Shoulder.
You got to have a lot
but
of
she's
going.
Married now.
Do you have a safe space to clear the air?
What? Which one are you looking at?
That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know at some aspect that I have to put people's feelings and emotions above mine, because that's what I do. However, there is a boundary that once I leave work, then that all changes. I have to, you know what I mean, put their needs above mine.
What Mr. West is also saying, he said, do your women respect you? How are you feeling with each other's time being how you deal with problems. Do you have a safe place or clearly? Okay, yeah, clear, because my chats keep going out.
A safe place.
The question is, how do you value your life? I mean, in other words, do you value your life and health over others? Like we can. Most times we can find ourselves in a position where we sacrifice. I mean, that's why I said when we talk about submission too, being submissive doesn't necessarily mean that you should sacrifice what your happiness is or the things that you like.
So Mr. Woods, I like that. He said, "Fear keeps us."
That's what I was saying. Fear
keeps us in the same position. Break fear, you can't reach your full potential. I agree.
Exactly, and that's the whole
fear comes from. That's what we have to.
Fear comes from what we experienced in the past. We're not fully healed from the things that has hurt us, that has wounded us, and until we are healed, that's why some people can get into relationships and they're not healed.
You have to understand this. Not everybody grew up in the same family dynamics.
Yeah, like so we're like okay from our model, our environment. Everybody didn't
don't know how to love.
Period. Yeah, exactly.
They don't know how to receive love.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know how to give love.
Exactly.
That's why I talk about love, because that's the whole thing. You have to be that
boom,
example.
Boom, boom.
You have to be
because if it's not given from mother or father and you did not have an example, but then if you have grandparents,
you can't save them either.
But I'm saying I'm going to say grandparents, if they showed you love, that's still something. But my thing is, you know what I'm saying, you can't get mad if the other spouse say had both parents and you can't get mad because your parents were estrained and y'all estranged,
but
and y'all
most
don't
times
get along.
You become product of your environment. So if you don't have that role model,
go ahead.
Oh, okay. If you don't have that role model, you really don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. Then it's going to be how can I say to the person, like, if they haven't grown up to know what a real healthy relationship look like, it's going to be hard for them. Like we
know what it looked like, even though like my mom and dad marriage at the time when we were growing up, to us it looked perfect. To us, I'm saying to us, until we got highs and lows. Yeah, that's how I'm saying. Until we got older and we understood, because you gotta understand, my dad was sick. Mm-hmm. Our dad was sick. We had to take care of sick father, and she had to take care of a sick husband at a young age. So you can't grasp how we had to go through some of the stuff where kids was out there always playing ball. Not saying that we didn't do it, but there's times that we had to literally take care of our father that was sick and bedridden. So no, we don't know what it feels like to have a father that's out in the street or a mother that's out in the street. No, we don't know what it feels like.
Both our parents were there.
Both our parents were in the home. It's just like we had different, just because they're in the home together, you don't know what the whole dynamics was.
Yeah, we don't experience the
same thing.
Problems, same issues. We have different issues that we had to
go through. That's what I'm saying. So, like I think I know myself and I see what my sister now is going through. It's just like with us being that we had to take care of a sick dad. You think we want to see a sick husband? Like, no, that would traumatize us because we want them to be healthy. We want them to be great.
We know how to.
Exactly. We know how to because we had to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we
by default.
Yes, we look. It's naturally, innately in us because that's what we learned. We learned how to take care of the sick, whether it be medically, whether it could be mentally, whether it could be physically.
Yes, exactly.
We want to help, or
we're a product of our environment. So we're quite, like she said,
that we act enough
to be able to fix a person, and fix them.
We can't.
It's not our responsibility.
It's not.
I've grown to learn it's not my responsibility.
We can be there to help them.
But eventually, at the end of the day, it's up to that person whether or not they want it or not.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sit here and beat it in you. If you don't want it, then guess what? I am going to leave it alone. Exactly. It's like I've got to the point like you can enable a person because they don't want to grow out of what it is that they're used
the
to.
Potential.
Yes, like I'm no longer going to,
because you know at the end of the day they like my sister just said, they don't know how to, they never had it, so they don't know what to look for because they always had something that was damaged or broken, and they're broken themselves, so they don't, they don't know what they had. But at me, I know what my guidelines, and I guess our expectations was set high because of what we went by, what we experienced coming up. I'm not, like I said, we came in a 2-parent home. Right. Was it bad days? Yes. Was it good days? Yes. A lot of good days. Mm-hmm. We did family things, family oriented. Yes. That I don't know what it feels like, but you know what? On the flip side, I had to go through a single family home, blended myself, and now I'm in a blended family home. But I was a single mom, so because like now my children now understand, like, Mom, you had to sacrifice for us. I sure did, because my mom did the same thing for us. But I know what it was to, get out there and hustle and bustle. But I always had a parent, a mom, a dad in the house, which they didn't. So it flipped for, most of us. And well, not her. It flipped for me and Avis. So how you feel about it? Because Annie was the only one at the time that she was in. They had grew up in a mom and dad environment.
Yes, most of my kids until towards the end of the young adults. And I think more or less that's what we were brought together for. If it was not just to raise the 4 beautiful children or young adults that I have.
But you got to also look at the dynamic.
Yes, there was a lot of things that I sacrificed of myself.
And what they have learned.
And yes, what they acquired and learned from it, because it makes them hard now. Like right now, when it comes to relationships, they don't just want relationships. So, and it's not to say that everything was all bad.
No,
we had highs and lows as if in any situation. But the thing is, because what was allowed on both my end and his end, they let's say they come to the realization that when it comes to relationships,
when we're going through as an adult, and our children looking up to us, honestly. We're just trying to make it through that situation the best way we know how.
Right.
Not knowing that the result of that, it definitely can harm, hurt, help the child when they get older, emotionally, psychologically, physically. I mean, it does
take a toll.
We don't think that as the parents. We're not trying to.
Because we're not looking at it from there.
We're trying to fix our own selves, address our own problems and issues the best we know how, not knowing that internally that the children are definitely.
Well, I think like what my mom and my dad went through when we got older, when we became young adults, and I'll say our mid-40s, right before he passed away, we got, like we said, we got hit hard with those things that they weren't accusations, but it was just that we got hit. And if he was alive, I don't know how we would feel. I mean, we would get over it, of course. But
I would just have a lot of questions. Like
but see, this sister here, like I said, she's a straight shooter. She's gonna tell her dad how she really feel and make him feel some type of way.
Because she got away with a lot of things.
So with that being said,
I can.
As the baby, always have.
But see, we as our kids, we wanted them, the peacemakers. As we got older, like we don't want to see them to mess up, because as we were young adults, it did affect us. It affected all of us. It really did. We all had our family. She had a family. I had a family. She had a family. We had family. Now, with that, it affected us. Yes, it did. It did. And I'm not going to lie. I don't care what age you are at. When the situation goes down, it's going to affect you, good or bad. It's going to affect you.
So, summing it up.
Yes, summing it up. My thing is, please just listen to your intuition, your gut instincts. Are the red flags are there when entering a relationship or even exiting a relationship versus sabotaging. Don't jeopardize because of fear a good relationship. Heal. Also, not only that, deal with whatever issues that you have from your past so that you can have a healthy relationship. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. But the thing is, it can be done. And then it's all about the work that you put in as well. You got to know the difference when you're operating out of fear versus with your intuition as far as what you sense. If you already sense there is something, quite naturally tap into that, because that means that something definitely is wrong. And know the difference between compatibility, connection, and chemistry. If the connection is there, you're definitely going to be able to have chemistry with that person, and it won't dissipate, and you'll be able to work through anything as long as you have communication.
Mr. Wood says, not how you love. The question is, are you lovable?
Well,
I'm definitely lovable.
Exactly. So if you're in a position where that reciprocation is there, like I always said, then you're going in the right direction. But if it's unrequited and you feel like you're putting in all the work and there's no type of reciprocation, then it's time to reevaluate.
I think mine is just scared and fear because of what is really, he was damaged and hurt. And it all stems from our parents. Parent root is parents. And that was what my root was with my dad and my mom. But it is the root. If your parents is not loving you, then if your parents is overdoing something because they compensate for something, doing something, but
where they're not there, they're absent.
Yes. So with what I'm saying is, the root is parents, because at the end of the day, they're bringing you in this world. So you can't get mad with your significant other, your partner, your spouse, or whatever, because at the end, your parent, and then you hold high regards to your first marriage if it was a fail, or your second marriage if it was a fail, or it doesn't matter. You have to also look at yourself. You can't just keep saying, oh, it's you. You can't just say that. You got to say, okay, it's something about me, or it's something that I have to work on, because I know I worked on myself, and it took me to realize the first time when I went to therapy, it was like I had to deal with daddy issues. Like I really had to deal with them. But now that I dealt with that, now I'm dealing with, okay, am I able to be submissive? Am I able? And this is me, a personal issue now. It ain't just me trying to self-sabotage, but it's like now I know your root. And I can feel, because at the end of the day, that person can feel you. And
if you're in tune with it.
Yeah, if you are in tune with that person can understand body languages and everything.
That's the intuition, feeling.
Yes, so you can feel that person. So at the end of the day, that's how I feel. Like you can't just blame others for shortcomings and stuff like that. I just feel like
sometimes we got to start taking accountability for
ourselves. Yes,
what we do, what we're contributing.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Love
yourself.
And I love
don't
myself.
Become self-absorbed.
I love me.
Yes,
love yourself. But don't be scared to love others.
Exactly. There we go.
Don't be.
That's what it is. Is that your final thoughts?
Don't break down them walls, as they said. There's strongholds, because that's what it is.
Down strongholds.
Yeah, that's all I need to say.
But we thank y'all guys for joining us on this evening. We're gonna wrap it on up for this evening. Once more and again.
Wait a minute. Aunt Janet said, "Love you all and good night. Be blessed. I enjoyed you guys. Love you, Aunt Janet.
Love you, Auntie. And love you, Juan. Prayers are still with you, baby.
Yes.
And Tiny Boo too. All them different ones that are going through, because even as my girlfriend or my best friend, well, she's a friend, talk about many other affliction of the righteous, but you know what? God will be able to carry us through it all if we look to God. So at the end of the day, just look to God in all things. Keep communication. The thing is, listen to your gut instincts. Don't operate out of fear because you can miss something lovely. Love you. God bless you. See you next week.
Good night.